Greetings everyone, MrIslamanswersback here once again, and today we're going to be dealing with the claims of this female TV show host by the name of Tomi Lahren, a conservative, and of course, as we've seen over the years, many of the conservatives here in the United States unfortunately seem to have a lot of bigotry in their ways of thinking. So I'm sure a lot of people saw it. She had a rant about Beyonce's performance at the Super Bowl because it appears that there was some ambiguous salute to the Black Panthers.
Or more. This isn't about equality. This is about ramrodding an aggressive agenda down our throats and using fame and entertainment value to do so. Beyonce, really? What is the political message here? What is it they are trying to convey here? A salute to what? A group that used violence and intimidation to advance not racial equality but an overthrow of white domination? The Black Panthers, for those who don't know, were critical of Martin Luther King's nonviolent civil rights movement. And
they've made an X formation on the field, and so people think that she was giving a salute to Malcolm X also, coupled with the actual video for the song that was performed, which has some references to the killings of blacks here in the United States who are unarmed. And so there were some references in the video, and then, like I said, the performance at the Super Bowl. So Tomi decides to go on a rant about Beyonce, saying how could she salute a group that she claims, Tomi claims, is a terrorist organization, and they wanted to, you know what, wait a minute, hold on, stop. Let's do this right. We're going to do this Panther style. So, as I was saying, Tomi Lahren went on the rant about Beyonce's performance at the Super Bowl, saying that, you know, she gave this salute to the Black Panthers and to Malcolm X. Of course, if you saw the performance, it was, you know, kind of maybe an ambiguous salute. It wasn't like direct. But also you couple that with Beyonce's video, the actual video for the song that was performed at the Super Bowl, and there were images in the video that had the, you know, the no hands, hands up, don't shoot, and stop killing us. So that kind of added to the controversy. But the thing about it is that, you know, Tomi went on to criticize Beyonce, saying how could she give a salute to a group that was known for violence and intimidation. Now, of course, this is false because the Panthers came about as a direct result after the era of Malcolm and Martin. And that's one thing Tomi brought up. She was like, you know, they were critical of Martin Luther King's nonviolent method.
Violence and intimidation to advance not racial equality but an overthrow of white domination? The Black Panthers, for those who don't know, were critical of Martin Luther King's nonviolent civil rights movement.
Alright, so let's do this right. We're going to do this Panther style. So as I was saying, Tomi Lahren was critical of Beyonce's performance at the Super Bowl because she felt she gave a salute to the Black Panthers and Malcolm X. And she was saying that the Panthers were a group known for violence and intimidation. She equated them to a terrorist organization. She equated them to the Klan. But of course, all of this is false. And she said that they were critical of Martin Luther King's nonviolent method, and that was the right way that things should have been done. However, we need to think and ask ourselves about the creation of the Panthers. The creation of the Panthers came about after Martin Luther King got killed. The Panthers came to formation because they saw what happened with Martin Luther King's nonviolent method, that he wound up dead, right? Here he was preaching nonviolence in the civil rights movement, and they still assassinated him. He still wound up in the same place that that Malcolm X wound up. They both wound up dead. So whether you were talking about taking up arms and defending yourself or being a pacifist, nonviolent fighter, they still wound up in the same place, dead. Both of them assassinated. Martin Luther King was violently assassinated, even though he preached nonviolence. And FBI files show us that the government at the time thought he was a threat. So Tomi, you know, you were saying that the FBI said that the Panthers were violent and dangerous. Well, they said the same thing about Martin Luther King, though. You see? And here he had a nonviolent method, but they still felt he was dangerous. They tapped his phone. You saw in the movie Selma, they tried to destroy his marriage. They told him he should commit suicide. That stuff was true. That really happened. So why would they do that to a man who preached nonviolence and who, if they felt he was doing the right thing? Well, the answer is clear, that as you spoke, that the Panthers were trying to supposedly overthrow white domination. Well, those in the white dominance felt that Martin Luther King was a threat to white dominance as well. Even though he was using the nonviolent method, they felt that he was just as much as a threat, and maybe even more so, because he was preaching what? Integration. And of course, integration was a threat to white dominance. They didn't want blacks and whites together. So they felt that he was even more of a threat, even though he had a nonviolent method. But because he was preaching that there should be integration, that was just as much as a threat as anybody else, if not more. You see? And so when you read the COINTEL program's declassified files, it says that this program, the COINTEL program, was designed to prevent the rise of a black messiah. Which means they realized that they were treating us wrong, but they wanted to prevent the rise of someone that could be a messiah-like figure that could help black people rise up and get out of the condition. And obviously they didn't want that. Isn't that strange? Why wouldn't they want that? Why wouldn't they want black people to have, you know, equal treatment and be able to come out of being mistreated? Why didn't they want that? Don't you find that interesting, Tommy? But of course, if you lived back at that time, you would have probably been the same people who were criticizing Martin Luther King. Although now you're trying to praise him. But the only reason why you praise him, you only praise him for black people. See? Because I have video footage of you, Tommy, and I'm going to show it, where you're not going for the nonviolent method. I'm going to show you all the video of Tomi Lahren, where she's going on this rant against, where she says, radical Islam. And she's talking about how Obama is weak on radical Islam. And we need to bomb them. And we need to send the B-52 bombers. So what happened to the nonviolence? What happened to the Martin Luther King method there? See? So they only talk that stuff when it's for us. When they mistreat us and do us wrong, then they talk that Martin Luther King stuff. When they're the ones who are violated, they want to bomb you, they want to nuke you, they want to murder you, they want to get rid of you, they want to bomb the whole place, they want to carpet bomb, whatever it takes when you violate them. So they don't talk that nonviolent stuff when it's for them. When they need to fix a problem that they're being violated, they will kill you, bomb you, murder you, invade. They will use violence against violence. See? But they only talk that stuff for us because they know they're in the wrong. So they know if we were to use that method, oh, well, all hell will break loose. So for us, oh, be nonviolent, love the enemy, turn the other cheek, look at Martin Luther King. But they hated Martin Luther King back at his time. See? They hated him. Martin Luther King was the equivalent at that time, like how they look at Al Sharpton, which was the guy who always comes around whenever there's some racial incident, and he's always stirring up the trouble, supposedly. So I guarantee you, when you look back at the footage and the way Martin Luther King was spoken of back at his time, he was the equivalent of how they talk about Al Sharpton, a troublemaker. A troublemaker who only comes around to stir up trouble. That's how Martin Luther King was talked about. So they love him now that he's dead. But at his time, no, that wasn't the case. So as I said, I'm going to show you that Tomi Lahren does not believe in Martin Luther King's method. She doesn't believe that his method is the right way. Take a look at how she speaks about how radical Islam needs to be dealt with.
President Obama, if you won't say it, I will. Radical Islam. This is not workplace violence. This is not a criminal act with motives unknown. This is terrorism. The suspected shooter, Mohammed Abdulaziz, a devout Muslim. Do I care that he seemed like an all-American young man? Do I care that he was good at mixed martial arts or a smart, quiet guy? Do I care that his high school friends wouldn't classify him as overly religious? No, I don't give a flying you-know-what about any of that. I've had it with this failed strategy, this halfway, half-baked, tiptoe, be friendly to jihadis mentality pushed by this administration. Be a leader, someone. They, the radical Islamists, have brought the fight right here to the red, white, and blue, and it's about time we bring it to them, full force. Let's show them what the United States of America looks like up close and personal. Show them what a B-1 bomber looks like flying overhead. Show them what they're messing with. Put the fear of God in their desert, because clearly our lack of strategy isn't working.
All right, so as you saw, she is clearly not speaking about nonviolence. She's not trying to say, oh, they should be peaceful with ISIS or peaceful with the radical, so-called radical Islamic, groups or whatever. She's not preaching peace. She's saying enough is enough. You need to bomb them. You need to send the B-52 bombers. Well, Tommy, that's the same thing the Panthers were saying with white racism. It's the same thing. They were saying enough is enough. You've been lynching us for decades. You've been lynching us for decades. You've been mistreating us for decades. Right? Enough is enough. You killed Martin. You set up Malcolm to be killed. Enough is enough. They picking up arms, and they weren't picking up arms to start an aggressive revolution. They were saying, look, enough is enough. You guys are going to stop brutalizing us. You're going to stop brutalizing us, and if you try to harm us, we got guns for you. That's what they were saying, which is their right. Which is their right. See? That was their right to say it. So I would be safe to assume then, Tommy, that since you feel that violence against violence is wrong, which you don't, which I already proved that you don't, but I would have to assume then that you must feel that the American Revolution was wrong. Perhaps George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Paul Revere and all these people and the Minutemen, perhaps they should have used nonviolence against the British Crown when America was trying to get independence for the 13 colonies from Britain, huh? Right? They should have used nonviolence against the Redcoats. Is that how you feel? Thomas Jefferson, all of them, they were wrong. They shouldn't have did that. They should have used nonviolence, right? They were wrong to use violence against the British Crown to get independence. But of course, we know you don't believe that, which is why we're taught that in school. We see the West teaches that might is right. See, when it comes to their French Revolution, American Revolution, they teach you that the way to go is when somebody's oppressive to you, and you try and all means are exhausted. The result, the option, your only option left is violence against the violence that the oppressor is using against you. But not for you, black people, not for you, Negroes. For you, no. Turn the other cheek, love your enemy, forgive them, pray for them, but don't ever think that you can use violence against violence. And that's why they don't like the Panthers. That's why they didn't like Malcolm, because Malcolm said, look, we're not going to take this, you see. But that's why they don't like them. And as I proved, Tommy does not believe in the so-called nonviolent method.
They, the radical Islamists, have brought the fight right here to the red, white, and blue, and it's about time we bring it to them, full force. Let's show them what the United States of America looks like up close and personal. Show them what a B-1 bomber looks like flying overhead. Show them what they're messing with. Put the fear of God in their desert, because clearly our lack of strategy isn't working.
You see? So she also goes on to say in her other video about how the Black Lives Matter, and how supposedly the Black Lives Matter thing is saying Black Lives Matter more.
This Super Bowl halftime show has become a way to politicize and advance the notion that Black Lives Matter more. This is
no, Tommy, that's not what Black Lives Matter. We're saying we matter also, because in other words, our lives have been shown to not matter to the police, to the dominant white society. Just look at what happens when Trayvon Martin got killed, for example, right? There was this big donation for George Zimmerman's defense fund. Nobody looked at it from Trayvon's perspective. He was made to be the thug and the troublemaker, and he shouldn't have did this, shouldn't have done that. No, just think about it. Aren't we taught as children that you should watch out for strangers, right? So imagine your child is being followed by some strange man. He runs away, right? We know that Trayvon ran away, and a man continues to follow him. He's a teenage boy, and this is a grown man following him now. After he ran away, the man's pursuing him, catches up to him. Most people, if this was a white boy, you would have all thought, yeah, he had the right to defend himself. That man shouldn't have followed him. Could have been, he probably thought he was a kidnapper or something. But no, because Trayvon was black, and whatever happened, maybe he decided to defend himself. Oh, he's the troublemaker. He's the thug. He deserved to die, is what you all say. And I'm like, how could they not look at it from Trayvon's perspective and have sympathy for him, knowing that he's a young boy being followed by a stranger? The stranger confronts him, and the boy, whatever happens, they get into a scuffle. So I don't understand how people could look at it and say, oh yeah, he deserved to die, not acknowledging the fact that he was the one being followed. See? But that's the point, that black lives don't matter. That's why we have to say Black Lives Matter. Because whenever we die, the death is trivialized. Or you show no sympathy at all. You see? You feel, oh, he deserved to die. Eric Garner, he's selling, they said he was selling cigarettes. Oh, he deserved that. He shouldn't have been doing that. Really? So it's the death penalty for selling cigarettes. Right? You see? They made all excuses. Oh, he was overweight. Meanwhile, the result of the death was being choked. See? So Black Lives Matter came about not to say that our lives matter more, but to say you guys have been acting like our lives don't matter at all. So we're telling you, yes, our lives matter just as much as yours. Not that they matter more than yours, they matter just as much, because this society has shown us that our lives have not mattered for centuries. That's the point of Black Lives Matter. Okay, so again, like I said, she admitted in the video that the Panthers were a group that was, you know, they wanted to use violence and intimidation to overthrow white domination.
A salute to what? A group that used violence and intimidation to advance not racial equality, but an overthrow of white domination? And
again, at the Panthers time period, what did white domination mean? It meant mistreatment of black people. It was in your face, right? The racism was in your face. It was blatant. There were signs that said, you know, no blacks here. And you can't drink from this water fountain. Colored got to sit in the back, and all these type of things like that. So this is the environment that the Panthers developed in. So they had a damn right to want to overthrow white domination. And it wasn't through violence and intimidation. They had their guns, as their name said. They were called the Black Panther Party for self-defense. They were not speaking about starting some kind of revolution. They were saying that they were being brutalized. Black people were being brutalized, and it was time for us to stop the nonviolent method because it wasn't working. So they said, look, let's take Malcolm's ideology, which was take up arms for self-defense. That if they try to harm us, like Malcolm said, we're peaceful and nonviolent with those who are peaceful and nonviolent with us. But if they try to put their hands on you, send the devils to the cemetery. So that's the Panthers. So they took his ideology and said, look, the nonviolent method didn't work. They were brutalizing us, and they murdered the man himself who preached it, Martin Luther King. So it's time for us to use Malcolm's method and take up arms for self-defense, to let these devils know that if you try to harm us, we're only asking for our rights. We're only asking that you treat us right. But if you're going to try to harm us while we're asking for our rights, we're not going to sit there and allow you to brutalize us. We will shoot back. And see, it's interesting that you notice that the dominant society, they love their guns. They love their guns. Picture here, take a look at a picture of Tomi. Here she is posing with her gun. They love their guns. They love their guns. So again, Martin Luther King never posed with a gun. But she's saying, oh, his method was the right method. So basically, if you look at this picture of Tomi and picture of the Panthers, who does she resemble more? She resembles the Panthers more, because the Panthers believed in armed self-defense and their Second and Right Amendments, and they show pictures of them carrying their guns, just like Tomi. So she's talking bullshit when she claims that she believes in the Martin Luther King method. No, she doesn't, as you saw from the video. You see? So she's saying that, you know, they didn't believe in change through peace, and neither do you, Tomi. Neither do you. And the Panthers did believe in change through peace. They just said, if you're not going to give us this peacefully, then we're prepared to defend ourselves, right? If you're not going to give us what we're asking for peacefully, and you try to come and harm us, not we're going to go out and get you, but if we're asking for these rights, and while we're asking for these rights, you continue to brutalize us, then we're letting you know we won't stand for that. We are here to defend ourselves, because the Klan used to threaten. The Klan used to kill people. They killed people. They bombed the black church. They shot Medgar Evers. Martin Luther King was assassinated. Countless other civil rights, you know, fighters were murdered, hurt, injured, etc., beat, shot at, whatever, right? And so the Panthers were saying, letting them know, look, devils, we're putting you on notice that we're not going to sit for you just brutalizing us. We're not going to sit there like sitting ducks while you kick our ass up and down the road and beat us while we're asking for rights. We're letting the devils know that we got our guns, and if you try to harm us, we will shoot back. Plain and simple, and hey, that's the American way, right? So lastly, she goes on to say that, you know, why can't we let America heal? You know, stop ripping off the so-called Band-Aid, right? But the Band-Aid, that's the point. The Band-Aid has never been put on. Because it's people like you. You're not trying to, you're the ones keeping America from healing, because you won't acknowledge the wrong that has been done. You won't acknowledge it. You keep making bullshit excuses. Blaming the Panthers. The Panthers were the ones on the receiving end, saying, look, it's time for self-defense. But instead, no, they're the terrorist organization. Terrorists against who? Get your bunch of goddamn devils that's brutalizing black people for no reason other than the darker shade of skin? So, you know, it's just total bullshit the way she's talking this, can't let America heal. No, you guys are the ones keeping America from healing because you keep perpetuating your racism. Like now, everything is Obama's fault. Obama's the worst one. Obama's divided. What? Obama's dividing America? No, America has been divided. Don't you know the history of this goddamn place? It's been divided. When have we ever really actually come together for you to say it's Obama who's dividing us? But we know that's that double talk. What you're really saying is because we have a black man in America, that's dividing. No, America has been divided. He didn't do anything to divide us. He didn't do anything to divide this country. It has always been divided, and it's been divided by white racism. Face that fact. All right? I'm out. Panther power.